As someone once actually said to me with my son who was born, and he was going through something, they said, oh, it's okay. And she's like, would you mind if I just pull you up on that? I'm like, absolutely. She's like, right now, he doesn't feel okay. What about if you told him he was safe?
Welcome to the Secrets of Being podcast. I'm Dr. Dawn Earhart Whitty, your guide on a transformative journey of personal development and discussions of universal truths. Join me and a panel of life coaches and spiritual leaders from around the world discussing how to handle some of life's greatest challenges. We will be sharing stories of love, faith, and inspiration with you, our faithful listeners, to live your happiest and most fulfilling life, full of purpose and passion for yourself, your families, and the world. We are here to be the change we wish to see. Let the conversation begin. Hello, thank you for joining the Secrets of Being podcast. I'm your host, Dawn Earhart Whitty. Today, I have some of my favorite soul family on the podcast to speak with us today. So I want to go around, have everybody introduce themselves, and then I will start the conversation. So Portia, you were here first. You go.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Portia Booker. I am your chief media producer and host of Grew Up Portia, where we share stories of grief, gratitude, and all the great things. I also facilitate grief groups, suicide loss, and parent loss groups. And I really want to have this conversation about loss because there's so many people that are going through it right now that could use a different perspective and give themselves permission to grieve. So thank you, Dawn, for having us.
Thank you, Portia. Valerie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Valerie C. Thompson. I am created to encourage, inspire, and uplift. And I'm going to leave it right there because that's what I do no matter where I am. It's not about titles for me. I'm just here to present and be light and love. And thank you for having me, Dawn.
And you are all of those things. You are an encourager and you are light. Thank you for joining us, Valerie. And Katy, my dearest Katy.
Hi, everyone. First, thanks so much, Dawn, for having me on the podcast today. I'm Katy Gilberston, and I'm an integrated health and wellness coach. I generally help women move from survival mode, so anything from grief, chronic illness, losing themselves and their identity, into an embodied and vibrant well-being.
And I can attest that is what she does indeed do. So today I wanted to talk about loss, grief, gratitude, and signs. And I think the signs is what I really want to share with people today because I've had some situations where you couldn't deny what you just experienced. I just got goosebumps when I said that. So I wanted to start it off with a quote, as I always love to do. And this is by Rumi, and it's my favorite poet, philosopher of all time. Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes, because for those who love with heart and soul, there is no such thing as separation. And I thought that was very, very beautiful because it's true. And we've all had different losses, but losses nonetheless, significant losses, some after short term, some long term, and it always still hurts, right? And I wanted to talk about some of the ways that we still feel connected to the people that we've lost. How have we been able to keep that connection and feel that connection? And Portia, you and I talk almost every single day. You lost your mom a few years ago. I would like you to share some of the things that help you remember that your mom is still with you, even though she's not physically here anymore.
One of the biggest things is the signs that I get in the house. A lot of times when I'm really struggling, I'll just say, Ma, help me. Give me a sign or something. And because I knew who she was, like I feel like I knew more of her as she transitioned. Sometimes when I come in the house, I'll smell her perfume. Or if I'm listening to music on the TV when I'm cooking, her song will come on. Or even today, I've been doing a 30-minute walk every single day that it's nice outside. And as I was walking, a monarch butterfly started circling around me. And I brought this up before that 3 days after my mom transitioned, a monarch butterfly was flying in my front yard. But I asked my mom specifically, I said, Ma, make sure you come visit me. Please come visit me. And I just knew that that was her because the monarch stayed there for a long time in the front yard. And so sometimes it's hard, I have to admit, because even when I ask for a sign from her, sometimes I want it like right then and there. But it just happens to come organically. Like when I need a mom figure, somehow or some way, Dawn, you just know, you'll just text me, or my other soul mother will text me. I'm like, okay, I know that I'm always covered. I'm always protected. And even earlier today, again, I was sitting in my car talking to a friend of mine, and a black swallowtail butterfly flew over my car. And black swallowtails, I know, are connected to my dad. So it's me constantly giving myself permission to be open, even as I'm in the midst of sometimes the heavy seasons of my grief, because we're about to enter the holiday season. So a lot of people are getting ready early for family gatherings, or, travel wherever, where my traditions have been changed. But at the same time, I still remain open to always receive no matter what.
And being open, I think that's huge, right? Believing that you will get that sign and knowing it doesn't have to come like immediately right after you ask for it, but it's still coming. Valerie, what have you had some experience? I'm sure you've had a lot of experiences. What are some experiences that you undoubtedly knew that you were still connected to someone you've lost?
So for me, and I have to say this, I read something once that said, we don't experience losses. That resonated with me. So I look at it as, again, they transitioned and their souls are still evolving. Spirit's still here with me. So I always have dreams. I've been having dreams forever of my parents who have transitioned, my brother, and of my son. I always have dreams. And just like Portia, I remain open because I know that there's more. Um, Butterflies, dragonflies, hummingbirds, ladybugs. So for me, I get excited about all that. And I feel like those are signs, flickering lights. Um, the other thing is, oh my gosh, what do I see? Feathers. Feathers. My son, when he transitioned, I found out that he was collecting feathers. I didn't know he was collecting feathers. So after his transition, I find feathers all the time. And some other ladies who were close to him, like friends, they also find feathers. So for me, those are signs. And I get so excited. So I started collecting feathers as well. So I just feel their presence all the time, no matter what. And then again, like Portia said, being open, knowing that there is so much more, right? There's so much more. They're always with us. There's a scripture that says to be absent from the body is to be present with Christ. But their spirit is always here. I feel my family members every day.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And that's back to the Rumi quote was for those who love with their eyes, there is separation. So Katy, you and I have experienced signs from Jackson, her son that she lost. I don't know if you want to share that story because it was pretty great that we got to share it together, but I'm sure you've had so many more. Would you like to share a few of those?
Absolutely. I think first I resonated with everything Portia and Valerie just said. Every single thing, butterflies, hummingbirds, you name it, it comes in the right color. My son's favorite colors will just pop up. And, I think I'll get to that rainbow one in a minute, Dawn, but one of the biggest ones for me, I just flew to Mexico just recently. And my son, before he transitioned, I had this thing about this magical horse. It came and I had this game with my younger son, and it was this magical pony that would chase through the house, and it kept disappearing, and it was full of colors. And we'd just kind of play on that. And when my son actually transitioned, my younger son asked me, well, where's Jackson? And I said, well, do you remember the magical pony? Well, he took him to the stars and he's up there. But within that, I found out moments after he passed was that my niece that was in Canada had to have her magical pony that day, and it needed its wings because she couldn't find it. I had another friend in Fiji whose daughter was 2 and also the same day needed her magical pony. And I then found out it was the year of the horse. And then I found out from one of my friends when I was explaining all of this, she's like, Katy, did you see Jackson's Instagram? I'm like, no. She's like, go look at it. And on there, a week before he transitioned, he put on this reel that I didn't even know you could do back then of space unicorns flying through the stars. And it's all of that. And it was just that it's like I needed the affirmation again and again and again to be like, Katy, what you're witnessing and feeling and experiencing and seeing is all in alignment. And then I read a book. Someone gave me a book. And in that book, the son of a pastor, he almost passed away, but he didn't, and started telling stories of his journey that everyone was like, you know, that's just so bizarre. And then in that story, he said, Dad, did you know Jesus? He has a horse and it's filled with rainbows. And I was like, stop it. Like this like was months later, and it was just such a beautiful affirmation. And so therefore I became so much more open to all of those experiences. Butterflies were his favorite, so I usually a lot of times see white or yellow, which were two of his favorite colors. Then rainbows. In New Zealand, you get so many rainbows, but he would light the sky. And then what I think was it the first time was at your home, Dawn? That we were just in the kitchen, there was no sunshine, no reflection. We were talking about him, talking about signs, and then all of a sudden there was this rainbow on her refrigerator. And we searched the kitchen trying to figure out where it was coming from. And then we both started laughing because we're like, of course, Jackson, we get it. We see you, we hear you, we feel you. And that was just that connected sign that he continually does ever thereafter. And one of you also mentioned about, actually, I think it was you, Portia, when you're needing someone, you get that text message. Dawn, we've always had that too, that one of us just think of each other, months could go by, and then it's just that moment of connection. And, you know, I think the more you're open to it, the more you're out of your mind and into your heart and into your body, you see much more.
Oh, I absolutely agree. The first time I even realized this, I was on a flight to Arkansas. I was going to a wedding, and I was reading the book by Laura Lynne Jackson called The Light Between Us. And one of the chapters she wrote about asking for signs, but asking very specifically for these signs, right? So she said, don't just say, I want to see an orange. You know, say something very, very specific so that when you see it, don't question, oh, well, there's just a million oranges or a million butterflies. So I thought, well, what would I ask my dad? So I don't know why, but I drew a terrible looking key that looked like one of those old skeleton keys. And I wrote golden key next to it. The next day, I picked up my friend. We went and spent the night at the hotel. We're getting ready for the next day. I look on her bed when she's in the shower, and she has a skeleton key laying on the bed on her key ring. And I just thought, oh my God. Now it was silver, it wasn't gold, but it was close enough. And then the person whose wedding we went to, I said, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what just happened. I told her, and she said, oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. Did I ever tell you I had a website called The Golden Keys? And I'm like, okay, thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. So that's when I first even understood that that was a thing, that we can ask for signs, and people, I mean, our loved ones, that love connection still exists. They will do whatever they can to send you that sign. And I wanted to share another one really quick because this one just happened. I recently lost my beloved Toby, and everybody that knows me knows how much I love this dog. He was my Velcro boy. He was always like right next to me. And I was on X like a week ago Friday, and somebody said, you know, post one of your favorite pictures of your pets. And I posted this picture of Toby and me because I was getting ready to do a Zoom call. And he was right there like Velcro, just right there next to me. And so I took like this shot of it. And so I posted that picture on a Friday. The next morning was Saturday. I woke up and I was missing him something like terrible. And so I cried and I was like, Toby, could you just send me a sign that you can still hear mommy and that we're still like connected? Less than an hour later, somebody posted on that post that I put me and Toby's picture up on, a dog that looked just like Toby. And the dog's name was Lincoln. And I have a dog named Bentley who Toby absolutely loved. And so Bentley, Lincoln, you know, the dog looks just like Toby. I'm like, okay, I felt it. So I know he's still with me. I wanted to, you know, now that I'm almost crying, I need somebody else to talk. But Portia, again, like you and I have been on this journey. while your mom was still here and through all of that. Share something else that's helped you, again, using gratitude, which is your go-to. I always say you're the queen of gratitude. How has gratitude helped you deal with processing your grief?
Oh, that's a good question, Dawn, because gratitude is my superpower. If anything, my grief has really taught me to lean more into my gratitude. So I'm grateful that I had my mom for the last 30 years of my life, because I've met so many people who never got to have their parent beyond when they were a toddler. So the fact that I had her for all these years, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for her keeping her foot up my butt, because my mom was tough as nails growing up. And I used to be like, man, my mom is strict, man. Can't you be a little nicer? I'm glad that she wasn't, because her being strict helped me to be able to navigate the world while she's not here. It also gave me, it's hitting me. It also gave me the strength to give her permission to go. And that was the hardest thing ever, because I never would have thought that that would be our crossroad, where she's like what Katy said, the unicorns had to escort Jackson back up, right? That was my mom's time for her to go to her new assignment in life. And so her strength, I'm forever grateful that I have it, right? I also think about my family, right? Because sometimes our family members, when we lose the same common person, our grief looks different, and our family is not always able to work with us or hold space, because they're grieving too, because their relationship was different. And so being able to have people like Dawn in my corner to hold space for me, right? Who met my mother. Well, you didn't meet my dad, but you met my mom, so you knew her, right? And then also just finding the gratitude in being able to carry her legacy. I mean, I got her looks, clearly. I got Shay's looks, but it's more so of being able to still talk about her, incorporate her into my work, right? My show Grew Up, Portia got its name from my mom. My mom was very proud of her kids. Shay always talked about, oh my God, Portia's doing this, Julian's doing that, my brother. And I'll never forget the day when I told her, Ma, the radio station gave me my own showtime. And so my mom calls my uncle, guess what? Portia just got her own radio show. So my uncle's like, oh, what is it going to be called? Groove with Portia. And that's how I got its name. So I get to carry that legacy from her. And also my mom was an educator. For 13 years, she taught special education. And so one of the things that I'm currently doing is working with people who have experienced loss, parent loss, and suicide loss. So it's like, what a beautiful tribute to my mom, that I can hold space for people who have experienced loss and also educate them on how to incorporate gratitude into their everyday, how to reframe how they see grief, how to integrate it in some creative fashion, right? How to empower others, and how to also forgive. Because Dawn knows this story. Me and my dad weren't always on the same page, but I had to be the one to be the bigger person to forgive him for the things that he didn't do. And also the fact that he had forgot who he was because of the Alzheimer's dementia. So I really had to ask myself, who am I? What kind of person am I to hold this man accountable for things that he can no longer remember? So really, my mom, I'm forever grateful for the things that she taught me about life, and being that forgiving person, and really incorporating unconditional love. Because there's so many people right now who just need some type of love, some type of support. And I used to question my mom, like, Ma, why are you so nice to this person who can be such a, what in this world? And my mom used to tell me, Portia, you don't know the hardship that they've walked through, the reason why they're like that. So you can't really judge them. Just hold space for them when you can, and love them unconditionally. And now I see why. So I'm forever grateful that my mom rubbed that off on me.
I am so grateful that I got to meet Mama Shay. I'll never forget, every time she would say hi, she'd say, hi, darling. And I always made my heart smile. So thank you for bringing her into my life. Valerie, same question. How has gratitude helped you process life, but also in a time where it's the hardest thing you've ever gone through?
So for me, one thing my mother said before she transitioned is remember the good times of the people that are no longer here physically. So for me, just being thankful, like Portia said, just being thankful of the time that I did have with her, with my father, with my brother, with my son, and understanding that it is an experience. They came to teach me something, I came to teach them something, and we learned something. So for me, and gratitude has always been part of my lifestyle anyway, as far as journaling. So always journaling and just being thankful. And like Portia said, like your mom said, Portia, you don't know the journey that somebody else had. So no matter how a person treats you, be kind because you don't even know if that person's going to be or how long they're going to be here, you know? So always being kind, always giving out light and love to the best of my ability. We're all here, and I say we're all connected. We're all connected. So just being thankful. Like right now, we're here and we're embracing one another. We're sharing light and love. We're sharing about our journeys. And we're thankful. And we're thankful. That's just what it is. Life, to be able to open our eyes, to be able to have breath, to be able to share experiences and coming from our hearts, just being grateful. So for me, that's what it is. I think about my son. Of course, I think about my son all the time. I think about my parents. And one thing I always do, I smile immediately because God always places something on my heart about them that makes me laugh. Like I'm just laughing now about my son because he was just funny. He really was. He was loved, but he was funny. So that's how I make it through with the gratitude and with the humor. And I forgot to mention music, you know, being thankful for songs that come to my heart. There's songs that my son used to listen to, or songs that my parents used to listen to, or my brother. So always being thankful for everything.
Yes, you are also a very grateful person in everything that you do. But it's, you know, sometimes it's hard to find the gratitude when your heart is broken into a million pieces, right? And that's the challenge.
It is. But here's the thing. When we feel like we can't find it, there's gonna be a Don. There's gonna be someone, right? That's gonna a Katie or a Portia that's gonna come, right? It's gonna come through a text. Something's going to come in some kind of way. The butterfly, the rainbow, the music, so that you can express gratitude because we're still here. We're still here. And that's how I feel like we can make it through. Those are the things that have helped me.
Oh, I love that. And yes, we are all connected. We need each other. We need each other. And with the deepest love also comes the deepest pain. I think they go hand in hand,
Yeah.
right? And so being grateful and cherishing every moment, not also understanding like nobody is promised tomorrow. We don't know what our lives are going to look like, you know, tomorrow. So therein lies the gratitude. So
Or even
Katy,
right
I
now,
know.
the second, the moment. We're
Yes,
here. We don't know what's going to happen after we left the Zoom call, you know?
that's true.
So
Mhm.
being thankful every second in the now. That's all we have.
Yes, I know. And you hear it all the time. And it sounds so cliche, right? But it really is the truth of our lives, our journeys, right? So thank you for that reminder. And Katy, what about you? I know you are a very grateful soul. You are peace, just peace. Look at her, she's Zen. So how has gratitude helped you?
I think that that's something my son has taught me. But the first thing I want to say is I'm so grateful for you each sharing just now your gratitude, because it reminds me that we're all so similar in our gratitude. And how that comes across, and how I've experienced that people who move through grief and accept that it's happening, it's always coming back to things that you're grateful for. And for my son, he passed away just before his 10th birthday. He too was a really funny guy, so I constantly am laughing. He constantly kicks me out my bum going, "Mum, that's not bringing you joy. Why are you doing it?" And I instantly switch out. "Thank you, son. Okay, I'm going to change my direction now." But he came as a master, and he became as a master of love. He came in a very short time to teach me very, very important lessons. And his entire life, which I'm so grateful I had those 10 years, but there's I don't know, it's like a different gratitude of having to have experienced birthing him into this world and also helping him transition from this world, and that beautiful cycle that I got to witness, and that I now have my own guiding light that's continually helping me be me, helping me bring my gifts forward, which he shone light on all of those things. I wouldn't know what they were if he hadn't have had his journey. And I think it's those things, you never know what anyone else is going through. And so my son taught me to send out love, to be grateful that I'm here to give that human love, whether they know that I'm doing that or not, that I send that to them. And I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful I continually meet incredible people, because the more I sit in gratitude, the more these beautiful humans come into my life and they share, and I'm guided to my next path. And I find every time I step away from that, that's where I feel lost. I feel alone. I'm sort of, I guess, confused in the space of where I am. And then I come back to one thing I'm grateful for, or one sign, or one message, or something that lands in my lap that makes me go, usually I laugh, because it's usually a very obvious smack in my face sign. I apparently need those a lot to really be like, okay, yeah, okay, I got you, no problem. I'm gonna, yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna carry on. So again, I think it's those, being aware these things don't come across us just because. We don't think these things just because. They come with a purpose. So start listening.
Oh, that's super powerful. And I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, we're just saying, oh, be positive, be grateful, get over it, because we should feel our feelings. And a lot of times, Portia and I will be talking, I'll be talking to her and I'll start crying, or she'll start crying, and our automatic response, like most people's automatic response, is like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And Portia always reminds me, don't be sorry. Feel your feelings. You are allowed to cry. That is, what is it? Rumi says, like, tears are prayers too. They find their way to God when you can't find the words. And I love that so much. So, also giving ourselves permission to feel that tremendous loss, right? It's not glossing over, saying, no, I know it was for a higher purpose. And, we understand that intellectually, but then but we have to still feel the loss, because the loss is part of the lesson.
Yeah, and
right?
I think that actually going through that emotion, letting that come out, whether it's anger and you want to scream, or, some people need to punch a pillow, or whatever that is. And I think that's that thing of, energy in motion is emotion. So you need to move through it whatever way it comes up. And it comes at the worst times. It's never like, oh, we're just going to do it because you're at home and you're by yourself. No, we're going to do it when you're out in public, when something happens. It's going to make you, go into that space, feel that space, allow it to be. Because in that moment, we can then move through that. And someone once actually said to me, with my son who was born, and he was going through something, I said, oh, it's okay. And she's like, would you mind if I just pull you up on that? I'm like, absolutely. She's like, right now, he doesn't feel okay. What about if you told him he was safe? That in the environment that he's in, he is safe to go through what he's going through, rather than being told you're okay, which therefore blocks you from feeling, blocks you from going through. So in your life, you just go, I'm okay, and you don't go through the motion. That has been a game changer in my family's world, and other people I've shared that with, especially for little kids. It's, you're safe. I'm going to sit here with you to go through that, because you don't feel okay right now. And it's okay not to feel okay.
Oh, that part. So we don't have to apologize when we're crying, and what Portia had said earlier is about the importance of holding space for somebody else while they are going through something like this, showing up for people, letting them know you can cry, you can scream, you can vent, you can tell funny jokes, like whatever it is that you need to get through this, know that I'm here holding that space with you.
And that's it. You can be silent. You don't have to say things. You do not need to speak to that. And that's why, so, I witnessed so many people disappear from my life because they didn't know what they should say. And it's like, but you don't need to say anything. I just like you to know that you're there and sending a message saying, I love you. You don't need a response. You're not asking if you're okay. I just love you. And I want you to know that. And I've taken that on so much myself, and how I know other people sometimes don't like text messaging. So I never ask them a question. I just put out that I'm thinking of them and that I love them. And if they come back, that's cool. If they don't, equally. So yeah, that holding space for someone, and you don't have to have an answer. When someone says, I'm sorry, I feel super awkward with that. It's a really awkward wording. But I think it's, again, we're taught these words. We're taught to do that. We're taught to shut that down. We're taught to suppress it, to carry on, they're gone, move along. Whereas, it doesn't work that way in the majority of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it don't work. And when I run my grief groups, a lot, especially my suicide loss groups, a lot of my participants are very angry. I can see the tears literally ready to drop behind their eyes. And I tell them, let it out. Let it out. Because you holding that in is hindering you from really starting to work with your grief. Because to me, holding back those tears is delayed. It's delaying your progress. It's delaying you from expressing how you really feel. Because I know when my mom transitioned initially, I could not cry. I couldn't shed a tear, nothing. And what broke me was writing those letters to God. And, everybody has their different belief systems, but I had to find a way to get those words and how I really felt, the hurt, the confusion. Like, you took everything. So explain to me, God, what do you want now? Do you like watching your children suffer? Answer me. And a lot of people are afraid to question because, to your point, Katy, we're taught certain procedures when somebody loses somebody. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. My condolences. I had one of my participants who lost a kid to suicide tell me they were tired of people saying, oh, I don't know what to say. Well, just be silent. Don't say nothing. Or just say, you know what, man, I don't know what to say, but I'm here, and be genuine about it. Right? Like, I think when it comes to experiencing that profound loss of your person, the one who left so many imprints on you throughout your life, we got to do better as far as holding space and just being honest and not regurgitating the same thing. So I tell my participants often, don't feel bad for crying when you're talking about Jason or Jackson, my mom Shay. Don't feel bad about it at all, because that's your love. That emotion needs to come out. We're not meant to hold it in. They didn't hold in their love for us while they were here. So why are we holding in our love for them? Because we can't physically see them, but we know energetically they're always around us.
And that's such an important piece too, about when we suppress, our bodies absorb.
I was just going to say that.
It then eats away at us, and then that shows up in stomach digestive issues and inflammation and disease and so many imbalances because we're not moving through that. And it's one of the biggest things in my work is, in my energetic side of my work, is that we're holding on so much, so tightly, and not allowing it to move through us properly. And that makes it that much worse and that much harder to move through those motions and waves of grief.
Absolutely. Valerie, they said so many amazing things. I don't know what like hit you the hardest, but what would you like to add to all of that wisdom?
Yeah. Nothing. Because I feel the same way as what I'm saying. I'm a firm believer in reveal, deal, and heal. You have to work through what's eating you, like the movie What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Like, you gotta let it out. You gotta work through that stuff, because if not, it's the same thing, like you said, Katy. It's gonna show up in your body. It's gonna show up some kind of way. And you have to be real with yourself. We are all different, as much as we're like, we're all different. So we're all processing differently when someone that we love is no longer here, whether that person committed suicide, whether that person was in an automobile accident, like my son, whether we knew the person had cancer, like my mother. You're going to process it differently, but we have to give people the space to heal the way that they heal and show up the way that they show up and say, it's okay. It's okay, you know? But I feel like the more we heal, period, with everything, the more we accept life and transition. I don't like to say life and death. Life and transition. We cry when we're giving birth and that baby comes. We cry when that person leaves the earth. It's all on the same spectrum. And when we can accept it, to me, that's the most beautiful thing, because it just is. But I feel it comes with healing. The more healing we do, the more we can accept.
Yeah, and I think it's very natural to want to ask why. Like, why did this have to happen? This wasn't supposed to happen this way, and all of those things. I think that's very normal. It's very human of us. But then to understand that, like, we don't always understand all the whys to everything, right? And so, you know, being present, and then again, valuing people every moment. You know, I remember one time my daughter and I got into a fight about something, whatever it was. And, you know, the next morning I just went over and I just laid on top of her and I just said, I love you. And she said, Mom, you just beat me to it because I was going to come in and apologize, you know, for last night. And I said, it's okay, because I don't want to spend one moment with the people that I love the most being in anything other than love. I don't want it to be anger. I don't want it to be not talking. I want them to know every moment that I love them. And I'm not going to let some silly little thing come in between that. So at the end of the day, it's all about love. And, you know, love is why we're here. And that's why it hurts so much when we lose somebody that we love, because that love is not physically here, but it's still here. And I think that's the part that I really wanted to convey today when talking about the signs and that love that still exists, to remember and hold on to that. So you know, we could go on forever. So I will, you know, kind of wrap this up right now, because I think there's a lot to process in everything that everybody said today. And this is a very heavy, you know, topic. And, you know, everybody's in their own journey of how they transition through and process through, you know, the grief that they feel in their lives. So I hope that we gave you something, some aha moment, some piece of wisdom that like helps your heart heal on that journey of loss. And then I want you each, before we go, I want you each to tell people where they can find you and how they can connect with you. So Valerie, since you're on my screen right now, I want you to go first, then Katy, then Portia.
First of all, thank you, Don, ladies, for the platform. Appreciate you all. God bless you. Sending you love and light. Again, I'm Valerie C. Thompson. You can find me on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can email me at ownyourtruthval@gmail.com. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. And you forgot to mention you have a book coming out, or did it recently come out?
There's so many things going on in my head. I do have a book. I do have a book coming out. I am the visionary author over Triumphant. It is coming out sometime in August. We don't have the date because we had to push it back a little bit. But yes, it's called Triumphant. You can reach out to me for that book. These are 13 women in the book who are talking about things that they have triumphant. I feel like we're still here. God is not done. And let me just tell you real quick, the vision came because one day I was like, hey, I seen myself at the top of a mountain. And I'd been climbing this mountain for 20 years. I put a flag at the top. And there were other women that were climbing the mountain with me, seriously, you know, to get ready for the next mountain. But we're triumphant. And so, yeah, that's the book that's coming out. Thank you, Don.
Yes, you are triumphant. And so congratulations. Please share when it's out.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, did I say Katy next or I say Portia next? I can't remember. You guys go. Just free for all.
Thanks, Dawn, for being here. and for connecting me with these incredible humans and then giving us a platform to connect with others. It's so important. And congratulations on your book, Valerie. I look forward to seeing this and reading it. It's wonderful to be able to support other incredible humans doing great work in this world. You can find me, I just popped my business name up there, Haurora Wellness. People struggle to sometimes name it. Haurora. You can find my website on Instagram, the same name, or shoot me an email at katy@haurorawellness.com. I look forward to connecting with anyone.
Thank you so much, Katy. And we'll put all this in the show notes so people can just click, which makes it easier. So Portia, your turn.
Again, Dawn, lots of gratitude for having us all on. Valerie, congrats on your book. Looking forward to it. Those of you who want to connect with me, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, Portia Booker. You can just Google my name. If you want to email me directly, talk to me at grewwithportia.com. So TALKTOME@grewwithportia.com.
Thank you. Thank you all three for joining us today again and sharing your heartfelt wisdom. You are some of my favorite people in the world. And so when you say something, it sits very deep in my soul. So thank you. And thank you all for joining the Secrets of Being podcast. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Secrets of Being podcast. We appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more inspiring content. For further inspiration, visit thesecretsofbeing.com and join our community. Until next time, stay inspired and keep unlocking the secrets of being.